Howdy folks, and this stage of the build I just was concentrating on getting the sliding camera mount attached to the bottom bracket of the gimbal, and I apologise for the length of time it's taken to get this video sorted. This was actually quite a difficult stage really, and it just took me a long time to work it all out. And I'm glad to finally get it to the stage where the camera can be easily mounted in the main part of the frame where all the adjustable balance mechanisms are housed, and that was the hard part of the build. So I'm really pleased that that's now completed. And the next stage of the build will be to incorporate all the motors and the software and the battery and all that it takes to get this to function correctly. Just initially tacking this into place with some super glue. Sorry I can't provide any more extensive footage of laying of wet carbon fibre, but it's always a difficult procedure when you try to video with epoxy resin everywhere. Really happy with the way it came out in the end. Nice and seamless, and that was what I was trying to achieve. And you might be thinking, well, what's the point of going to all the trouble of having seamless carbon fibre? Well, I was trying to get away from having joints with nuts and bolts, which adds needless quantities of hardware and extra weight, when I can use that weight somewhere else when I may need it for balancing purposes. Drilling holes is always my nemesis, so I start off with a small diameter drill bit and work my way up. And on this occasion I used just a small file to fine tune the hole, and I had to elongate it just slightly because I was just a tad off with my center mark. And I had to cut some more thread into some longer titanium bolts that I had, and this took a bit of doing actually because the titanium was very, very hard, so it took about 5 or 6 passes to get it down to the size that I needed. I was very happy with the adjustable mechanisms. Actually, they worked really well, quite smooth, and the camera ended up balancing quite nicely. And there's this threaded rod that goes into the bottom bearing housing, and I cut out a little notch in this nut that tracks along the groove at the bottom of the mount, and this will help me to fine tune the balancing.